What's up, everyone? Soldier First Class here, and today's mission. I am joined by my friend FishFriedCat.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about our expectations for the new Jump Festa trailer, or just a Jump Festa trailer in general, and what we could possibly see at the show, what we expect to see at the show, and maybe even give a bold prediction or two. So, Kat, are you excited for Jump Festa?
After that last Cloud trailer they put out, you bet I am.
See, I'm extremely excited because of that trailer. Trailers aren't the longest at the Game Awards, so I felt like this was kind of their bridge the gap between all the things that we've seen so far and kind of just keep the hype train rolling, and that trailer for me was kind of a love letter from them, and that made me even more excited for Jump Festa. And I think what I expect the most is what everybody expects, and that's the elephant in the room right now, Red 13. What are your thoughts about Red 13 and whether you think we're going to see him or not?
Well, I think if the Cloud trailer was kind of showcasing off Cloud's personality and everything, I'm not sure if they would do like kind of a long trailer to kind of showcase everybody, all the other party members' personalities, and then just kind of end it with Red 13, which I feel would be a good way to reveal him.
See, I like that idea too. I'm expecting, for me, with Red 13, it's going to be more of like how we saw Tifa, where like you don't expect it because like the trailer has led up to it, and then the screen goes black, and then boom, Red 13. Like, I think that's how they're going to reveal it, because Tifa, for me, was a great reveal. You kind of expected it going into it, but at the same time, when it got halfway through the trailer and she hadn't shown up yet, you were kind of like, okay, well, is it going to happen? Screen goes black, boom, Tifa. I think that's exactly how Red 13 is going to show up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll either show up in the middle or at the end, and I think we might get like a little snippet of Cosmo Canyon or something.
I mean, that would be great to hear, especially since we're not going to see Cosmo Canyon until at least part 2. And just getting to hear that Red 13 theme song would be great. I don't think it's going to be a tease reveal either. I think this is going to be an actual full reveal. And hopefully it does happen, and that kind of relieves some of the fans' worries. Because at any point in time, did you think that Red 13 may not be in part 1? Or is it just because it's Midgar you think he's automatically in?
I'm not sure if I ever thought he wouldn't be in it, but it is kind of weird, but it's not like other games haven't done it where they usually throw a party member at you kind of near the end. Though typically with some games, and I won't name them out of fear of spoilers, but which obviously isn't the case for Red 13, but some of those games will have like that party member they throw at you at the end be kind of like a surprise villain.
Speaking of villains, I feel like the next reveal that we're going to talk about is kind of a package deal with Red 13. When you think a reveal of Red 13, I, in my mind, think that Hojo is the logical reveal after that, because it feels like in Midgar, they are a package deal. Do you get some vibes from this trailer that makes you think that Hojo might show up?
Well, first of all, you called him a villain, and I really don't agree with that assessment, but I do I do think if they're already showing off Shinra and Heidegger, like, who else would be the next best person to show off than Hojo himself? Little Hojo Hostar.
Now, is he going to be creepy Hojo, or is he going to feel like, okay, for example, Sephiroth in this latest screenshot we got was menacing looking. Like, he just looked intimidating. Do you think Hojo's going to come off as, like, the evil scientist, or do you think he's going to come off as, like, the guy that looks like he might be a decent guy, but underneath the surface, he's just this horrible, horrible villain? Or, I mean, how do you think he's going to be portrayed in this game?
When I think about Hojo, I think he can't be, like, that much of a creep. He'll probably be, like, that kind of charismatic guy where, you know, you don't know when he's gonna kind of snap. Because you can throw around as much money as you want, but I would still think, you know, some, like those women he was with at Costa del Sol, I don't think they would have gone near him if they would have, like, oh, we're gonna die if we go around this man.
Yeah, and I mean, he came off as creepy in Crisis Core, but not in the way of, like, he was disfigured looking or anything like that. He just seemed like a normal scientist that hid like a really sinister plot. So for me, I feel like Hojo's going to look like, he's evil, but he may not outwardly appear that way at first.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction I'm hoping they're taking with kind of the whole Shinra crew, but I don't see that happening with Heidegger because when his bio description, he's not afraid to throw anybody under the bus or something like that.
And I think Shinra as a whole, as a company, they like to portray themselves as like the good guys. And we know from the original game that they portrayed Avalanche as the evil, blowing up the reactor. And this game does a really good job of blurring the lines. And the morality, it's just a giant blurred line. So I feel like that as a whole is going to be shown in the remake, and I think it's going to reflect in the Shinra characters. Like, we as the player are going to see that and be like, okay, we know these guys are evil, but to the people of Midgar, which I think is really going to be big in world building, these guys are going to look like, this company's doing so much for the people, Avalanche is evil, and I hope they portray that in the remake in more depth. And do you think Rufus is going to show up in this trailer, or is this one of those where it's going to be hidden until the launch of the game?
See, I want to say it would be hidden until the launch of the game, but then again, like, they show Sephiroth off at almost every chance they get, which I'm kind of against just because my previous view of Sephiroth, why he was such a great villain, is for a good chunk of the game, he was always kind of in the background, and like your first actual glimpse of him is the sword in Shinra's back. But I got to see how they're doing it first. Like, I'm still going to dislike it a bit, but I want to say if they're showing off Sephiroth that much, they're probably going to be willing to show off Rufus.
I had a thought about Sephiroth in Shinra HQ, and it makes me think that maybe kind of like the alleyway that we saw in the E3 trailer and in the State of Play trailer we saw in the Sector 6 construction area, that the Shinra HQ Sephiroth might actually be a flashback. It might not be that Sephiroth himself shows up, but that, like, the flashback, the mental warfare that Sephiroth is playing on Cloud comes to life in the Shinra HQ scene because he sees Masamune sticking out of the president. Like, a lot of people are interpreting this as he's actually in the Shinra HQ, and I myself actually did in a video recently, talked about that as him being in the Shinra HQ now. But we've also seen the hallucinations and stuff, and this might be one of those, and why he seems so menacing in this picture. There might be a good mix of, okay, Sephiroth is this powerful being that is kind of behind the scenes, but also playing mind games with Cloud, which brings me to that. I love the psychological thing that they're trying to play with Sephiroth this time around.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just feel, and again, I don't know until we actually play the game, that they kind of showed him off way too much in the trailers. And I think, though I'm not sure if it'd be good for just like the longtime fans where we kind of familiar with his voice and you just kind of hear his voice speaking to Cloud during like the psychological moments or whatever it may be. I mean, I'm still going to like it, obviously. I'm a bit of a Square Enix bootlicker, so whatever.
I've regularly been called that, so I feel ya. Are there any other reveals or any kind of, like, maybe new locations or anything? Do you think this trailer is going to show off anything brand new? Because it seems like, other than the Cloud trailer, every trailer has had, like, a reveal. Like, we've got Aerith in the State of Play trailer. We got Tifa and Sephiroth in the E3 trailer. The TGS trailer was the Turks. This trailer, to me, feels like it's going to be a reveal trailer. So, what characters besides Red 13, Hojo, or Rufus do you think could be shown?
If they show anybody, it'd probably be a good time to show off the rest of the Shinra people like Palmer and Scarlet and, oh yeah, Reeve. I'm also kind of hoping that Roach is kind of as far as they go with like big soldier name reveals and we don't get another Genesis.
I feel like the thing that really upset a lot of people about Kingdom Hearts 3 was that it felt like everything got revealed in the trailers. So while as a YouTuber, it's hard for me because I want more stuff. As a fan, I don't want more stuff because I'm like, I want to experience this firsthand. And that's why I'm kind of leery about major new reveals. Like, we don't know anything about the Watchmen of Fate. I like that they're keeping it that way. We don't know much about Roach or Rosh or however you say it. We don't know much about him except that he's a third-class soldier. We don't know what he's about, why he's doing what he's doing, if he even works for Shinra, because they use the word rebel. I like that no matter what they show, just these tiny pieces of information, but not giving us the full story, so I really like that. I think one of the fan worries is that we've not seen really anything new location-wise, so I'm hoping at least one new location gets shown. Maybe a different sector or a different, kind of like the Honeybee Inn, but just a different area. Do you think that we're going to get anything like that, or?
Yeah, if the game is really as long as they're claiming it'll be, I still don't know what a full-length Final Fantasy game means because it's all kind of varied, but if they can just show off one new location, like even just like a little quick sneak peek of it, I think that would satisfy a lot of people and just kind of relieve some tension a little with that.
And speaking of reveals, and it's kind of split the fan base a little bit, do you expect to see Cloud's dress or even Tifa's Wall Market dress before launch, or is this something they're going to save for the game?
If they know it's good for them, they're going to reveal Cloud's dress because they've been teasing that since I think after the first reveal trailer where they did that interview and saying, don't worry, we're going to have the Cloud in the dress moment. It wouldn't be Final Fantasy VII without it.
It's just one of those things where like they're like, yeah, it's happening, and then silence for 4 years, and then like another interview pops up. Oh yeah, Cloud's dress is definitely happening. And then another interview just recently popped up, and Toriyama's like, I'm handling this personally. Don't worry, the dress and the Honeybee Inn is in there. I feel like they keep bringing it up, and I almost wonder if it's to build hype for the game itself, or if it's like they've been waiting to reveal this dress, and like they know the fans want it. But at the same time, I feel like fans want it, but they also need to be careful what they wish for, because that's something that can be spoiled for us. Even though it's something we know is happening, it's something that we don't know what it looks like. I don't know, I feel like they're teasing the reveal in a trailer for sure.
All they have to do is just tease it, and like the biggest part of that, I also want to know how Cloud sounds when he talks, or if he's just going to become a silent protagonist at that point.
That's actually a good point. I never even thought about that. How is Cloud going to make himself sound convincing enough to Don Corneo? And is he going to... You're right, is he going to talk and maybe Aerith and Tifa kind of are like, oh, this is our shy friend, or, you know, she doesn't talk much, and I feel like that's actually a good point to make. How is Cloud going to sound different, or if he's even going to make a sound at all?
Yeah, he could be silent, or Don Corneo could just be really into it. Who knows?
That's the million-dollar question. So, also, are we going to see another trailer before launch, or is this it? Do you think this is going to be the final trailer, or are we getting something else before March 3rd?
Like anything major, or does, launch trailer count? Because I know they do that with almost all their games.
Well, okay, so I think we're definitely getting a launch trailer. It's almost a guarantee for them. We saw the Cloud trailer. Do you think anything like that's going to happen with maybe Tifa or even Sephiroth? Or do you think any characters are going to get new trailers?
If anything, I feel it might be Tifa and Barret. I'd love to see character trailers from them because Cloud, Tifa, Barret are kind of like the big three for a while in that game. And I know we're also going to get more time with Big Wedge and Jesse, but I'd rather leave that to the games and, some surprises since we don't know how they're going to be completely. Other than Jesse, who apparently loves to flirt with Cloud a lot.
Which I absolutely love, by the way. I love the character interactions. I think that's been one of my favorite things about this game, is that when we watch the demo footage and we see Barret and Cloud going at it, like, back and forth, the banner, that's not, to me, that's really awesome. But those two kind of have this relationship where Cloud is kind of just the guy that's hired, and Barret doesn't really trust him because he's ex-Shinra. But then you have these characters that they're drawn to Cloud, like whatever his charm is, like Jessie, she's drawn to Cloud, she likes Cloud, and how those interactions are going to be different based on how those characters feel about him is something that was hard to convey in text. Like, we knew that in the original that Jessie had a crush on him, but in this remake, I feel like they're showing that even more, and there's a lot more emotion, so that is definitely one thing I'm excited for, is the character interactions.
Yeah, I felt ever since Final Fantasy 15, which I guess people can have their opinions on that game. I certainly have mine, but I feel the character interactions between Noctis and his Choco Bros were probably the highlight of that game. And I felt like they had to latch on to that, and you could only go up from there.
Well, and I think any great RPG, it makes the characters feel like characters that you can relate to, or that you feel like that these are real people. And I think when video games convey that, that is a great feature to have. And some games just don't create that living world, and I think that's where Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to actually excel.
A while back, I was talking with Night Sky Prince, and I was saying how I'd really love the remake to explore why, like, you know, he's working for the Shinra and he idolized being a soldier and has so much like honor and love for the job. And I was saying how they should have a lot of propaganda posters or something. And then not long after that, I heard people talking like from the E3 demo saying how like they heard propaganda commercials for Shinra and everything. So the moment I heard that, like I just have a feeling they're going to go all out with the world building.
Which is something I have been looking forward to since they announced this project. So, like I said in the podcast the other day about how I hope that like the citizens all have these different feelings about the party. Like when they see Cloud out and about, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, he's like a soldier first class, or, you know, something to that effect. Or they're going to recognize Barret and be like, oh my god, those are the Avalanche guys. Maybe we should call the Shinra hotline or whatever. Stuff like that I think is really good, is what's going to put this game above most RPGs out there.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
I feel like the massive expectation though is Red 13, and whether it be a teaser, like a tail going across the floor, or a full-on reveal, that is going to break the internet for sure.
Yeah, I agree there, because he's the last one we're pretty much all waiting on.
Well, and he's historically the hardest one to animate, and I think a lot of people are worried that that's why he won't be in part 1, because they're waiting on the PS5. But if you look at the events of Midgar, I feel like it's a guarantee.
Oh no, I feel like they got it at this point. Who knows? We won't know till we see.
But anyway, guys, this has been awesome. I've loved having my friend FishFriedCat on the video here. Thank you guys for watching. You got anything last to say, Fish?
Subscribe to me, please. I need the numbers. And watch the video too, please.
Yes, be sure to check out FishFriedCat. I will be putting the link in the description below. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Let us know in the comments section below what your major expectations are for Jump Festa and the new trailer. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for all the latest Final Fantasy VII Remake news, rumors, and trailers, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.